In regards to the shaky head, there's really only a couple things to know about that. With our styles, there's really two. When I'm using a straight worm, I want to use the J-Bend shaky head. So that's the TSJ line of products. And then on some bigger baits, like if I were doing one of our crawls or someone else's crawls or a beaver style bait, then I would use the extra wide gap. With the lead shaker, it is only a J-style hook, and that's primarily because it works well for those big worms. But the guys have done a great job with that. We're having a blast with that, and people really should check that out.
We're hanging out with Jeff Reynolds as he explains why the Secret Lures lead shaker is a tool he keeps rigged up in his boat 12 months out of the year.
When throwing a shaky head, I've always been one that thinks of it as like a finesse type deal until I seen this lead shaker. And the first time I threw it, I was like, man, this is just a whole different world to me. Now I can feel something now. I can feel everything I'm dragging it through. And there's so many different things you can do with it. Different kind of worms you can put it on, you know, an old monster, a Berkeley power worm, big Cinco type bait, smaller finesse worms. And the ways you use it, power fish it. I mean, I power fish with it. I don't just throw it out there and let it set on the bottom like you're dragging a Texas rig worm. I mean, I'm dragging it through stuff, through stumps, through brush piles, through rock points, everything. I'm moving it a lot.
You know, one of the neatest things about this bait is the way it sets in the water. As you can see, that little concave spot in the head right there, that's what comes the name pivot divot head. But the way that bait sets, it's just like that. And in the water, that tail will be up there just wiggling around and, I mean, pretty much doing all the work. And when you drag it across the bottom, it's just bumping the bottom like that as it comes through. And them fish, I think a lot of them fish hear it hitting them rocks, kind of like crawdads will be clicking, you know. And then when they see it just floating up there, coming through there, and they will eat it. Fish catching machine.
Now this is how you rig it. It's got a screw lock up here. You just put it up there, screw it all the way to the head. When you get it up there, look and see kind of where the bottom of the hook is. That's roughly where you want to go in. We'll go in right there, and I'm gonna slide it all the way down till it's straight. And I want that hook right on the outside edge where it don't have as much plastic to go through when you set the hook. You know, if you just take it like that and just barely stick it in, you've got that whole worm that you've got to penetrate to get it into that fish's mouth. If I pinch it up, stick it all the way in there right out to the edge, I can feel that hook right there. That's going to give you a better hookup. The lead shaker comes in different sizes. This particular one is a 1/2 ounce. This is probably my favorite. You can get a 3/4 ounce. You can drop down these tail shakers and, you know, get 1/4 ounce, 1/8 ounce. And the reason you want the different size baits, there's different styles of fishing with it. You can either throw it out there and drag it real slow. You can throw it out there and reel it across the bottom. And when you're doing that, you want something heavier that's going to stay down when you're reeling it. You know, if you're throwing a 1/4 ounce head in 15 foot of water, you can't reel it because it's going to come off the bottom. You need a heavier head to keep it on the bottom. So you get a school of fish going, you catch a few of them, you're dragging it through there, which is what I do. They quit biting, you can throw that bait out there, like this 1/2 ounce I throw a lot. I had one spot that was actually in a tournament one time. We caught them pretty good, caught several fish, decent ones, and they just quit biting. I know there's still fish down there, I can see them on my live scope. Throw it out there and I start reeling it through there. Steady retrieve, reeling it, it's like 7 foot of water, 1/2 ounce head, and immediately, the first 2 casts I made reeling it, I caught a 4-pounder and a 5-pounder and we won that tournament. I'm just telling you right now, this bait has won me more money in the past 5 years since I've been throwing it than all other baits combined. It changed the way I fish. I am more confident now fishing offshore. I mean, I still do my shallow deal. I'll throw this in 2 foot of water because they eat this right here. I mean, I don't know, there's just something about it. They eat it. And whether anybody else likes it or not, that is the favorite bait in my boat.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Golly. Boy, that's a good one there. Come here, baby. Easy. Oh, yeah. Look at that right there, boys. Look how fat that fish is. That is by far now my favorite bait. That's on the deck of my boat all the time. Whether it's a 1/2 ounce, 1/4 ounce, 1/8 ounce, 3/4 ounce, just depends on how deep the fish are. One more splash.